Voila! Metro 360 in the building, your brother John Mack, aka Mindbender. And we're going to get right into this story. We're not going to waste no time. So, Puff Daddy Sean Combs has recently been arrested for allegations that stem from everything from the RICO Act to sexual assault to sexual violence to kidnapping to egregious business practices and not paying his artists their rightful publishing, extortion, so forth and so on. All for an agenda. And the connection to that is Drake's lawsuit against UMG. The head of UMG's name is Lucien Grange, and his connection to Puffy and Puffy's distribution of television and music, all sorts of different digital media, is close-knit from what we understand, according to the Little Rod lawsuit against Sean Combs and Bad Boy Records, once again for egregious business practices. Little Rod alleges in his lawsuit affidavit that Puff and Lucien Grange would disappear for hours during the evening into his private quarters or his bedroom, and that Puffy did a lot of covering up for Grange when it came to bringing women and illicit activity to his home for appeasement of Mr. Grange, who looks like he controls a lot more than we think he does by running one of the most powerful record labels in the country, Universal Records. Now, Kanye called Grange Drake's baby daddy. And we've heard about the closeness and the money that he was able to have access to through Elliot Grange, right? $500 million record deal and distribution publishing deal. So many other endeavors. And Drake was ready to go back to the table and sign a new recording contract, probably for double or triple the amount, amounting to an 18-year career worth of #1 hits on the radio and videos. And whether people want to give Drake his flowers for being a good artist over the last 18 years or not, right now with Kendrick being so powerful in the takedown of the Drake brand, right now, UMG is hemorrhaging millions of dollars every day. And Drake's alleged lawsuit alleges that UMG promoted Not Like Us in order to bring down Drake's numbers so that he couldn't go back to Grange and ask for a larger sum of money on the next go-round in projects. You see, Drake's anticipation was that he didn't think he was going anywhere due to his popularity in record sales and the aforementioned that he brought to the label in the last years, especially with music being more of a streaming platform and not bringing in the same money that hard copy CDs, tapes, vinyl LPs brought in. Well, that gets me to the next point. And, some people allege, like Cat Williams alleges that, UMG is going to take Drake down. And the last time we seen UMG take someone down, personally, was Prince and Michael Jackson, who both were attempting to leave their respective labels with Sony and Warner Brothers, all to end up dead prematurely. When you're going against an unstoppable monster like Universal, who owns TV, cinema, and musical media, all in one giant conglomerate. When you can hear about a single portion of Universal Studios burning down, the specific part that held the Tupac masters in it, you got to scratch your head and say, what the fuck is going on here? Now, shortly after Takeoff of the group Migos was brutally murdered in cold blood, there was one gentleman that was right there when he got killed, and that was CUEVO. And here in these pictures, you can see CUEVO chumming it up with Puffy. And my question is, what is CUEVO's involvement not only with Puffy in some of these allegations, but with the unaliving of Takeoff in Houston? These pictures don't look good to me. These pictures don't feel right, and they never did. From the time I heard this story and seen this story bothered me to the core of my soul, especially knowing how much money flowed through the pipeline after the murdering of that young man. You see, when you unalive somebody in that fashion, there was a message being sent somehow, some way to someone. I imagine it was CUEVO. Get in line, young buck. You know, all these rumors and allegations that we hear about Meek Mill. Not only has CUEVO been relatively silent after the death of Takeoff, but all we keep hearing about is Puffy ain't going down by himself. He's going to take others down with him. Now, these artists aren't as powerful as Puff. Puff is a billionaire, and Puff has been making moves that seem, almost super in a way. Like, his mind works faster than everybody else's when it comes to business and making things happen. But let's not forget Puffy's past, along with Universal again. His name was Christopher Wallace, the Notorious B.I.G. And right after a famous party in Los Angeles, similar to Takeoff, Biggie, getting in the truck, not even moving a few inches forward, was rolled up on and unalived. In what we seem to think is Puffy in the goddamn front seat. All of a sudden, magically delicious, blow, it was big. As we see this fat pig, Gene Deal, get online every day, and while accusing Puffy of not being the most honorable person when it comes to business, also gives Puff the same excuse on the turnaround. Gene Deal is definitely on the take and on the pay, and I've been saying that for a long time. I don't trust shit he says. Just like I don't trust fat ass Reggie Wright Jr. Just like I don't trust none of these pigs. Man, I tell you what, you're telling me that there was a party in Houston, Texas. We're talking about Texas. When you enter Texas, there is a giant sign right in El Paso that says, "Come to Texas on vacation and go home on probation." You know, don't mess with Texas. Those are the kind of signs you see when you enter the state. So you're telling me at one of the most prestigious, elegant spots in Houston, with basically Houston's musical royalty in the Prince family, there wasn't one security or police guard in that building with all those celebrities? No one had any police protection at all. I can't believe it. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. You have to be a dumbass fool. And from all the angles that we see, we don't necessarily see any law enforcement in there. And how long did law enforcement come to get? We watching CUEVO hold his cousin in his arms and, you know, plasma all over his shirt, all over the ground, you know. And that's a devastating position to be in. For him, a few weeks later, after that, to be hanging out with Puff and knowing the kind of allegations that are against Puff, everybody seen in his circle has to be suspect. But pay attention to the story, because it will grow, it will get deeper, it will get bigger, and certain people will be exposed. Peace and blessings.